Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. Yeah, I know. The comment section in the last video is probably... it hasn't released yet by the time you're watching this, or by the time we're watching this, rather. And also by the time you're watching this on YouTube, my hair will officially have been fully shaved. So I will no longer look like Kevin from The Office or Ben Franklin or Friar Tuck or whatever. Everyone in the comment section.
Krusty the Clown. Curly, or is it Mo?
Oh, it's Larry. They say I look like Larry, especially with my hair out like this, because he was the one who always had his hair like crazily out to the side.
I know their names, but I can never remember which is which.
Curly was the bald one.
I never watched enough Three Stooges.
Curly was the bald one. Mo was the mop top. Larry was like the poofs out here. Attack on Titan. I'll say this much: the creative choice to jump forward. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you just don't understand the creative choice." No, I understand the creative choice. Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite films, and the narrative in that jumps all over the fucking place. It's just the choice I would not have made for this show specifically, because to me there was so much more lore that could have been explored on Paradise. And for you manga readers out there, for those of you out there who are saying, well, why don't you just read? Well, I hate to break it to you, but they do that later on. It's like, okay, for those of you who've read ahead in the manga, so the hell what? Okay, I mean, it's still a minute complaint on my front, especially if they continue to do a good job expanding like they did in the last episode and not just dropping us straight in.
Well, as you'll probably have already seen in episode 2, obviously I changed my mind, and I feel like they could have done one simple thing in episode 1 that would have been a better choice than just not saying anything, which was give us a reason to care about what was happening.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, you should already care about this. You should already care about the lore of the other side. And I'm like, why?
Why?
The show's literally given me no reason to care about the other side so far. Like, the show has only set up so far, from the information that we've been given, that the other side is the enemy. And, like, usually, I mean, we saw some lore in the Fire Nation and Avatar, right? Like, definitely. Like, there was a lot of lore given on the enemy and, like, you know, the enemy. Like, the Fire Nation themselves weren't even the enemy. The Fire Lord was the enemy. The leader was the enemy. Like,
yes.
And, like, his daughter, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, the way they were taking the nation was the bad thing. The people in the nation were actually pretty legit for the most part.
They were decent people. They were just
regular people. They just wanted to live their lives like everybody else. And we did that through the protagonist visiting the Fire Nation.
Yes.
We didn't do that by just getting thrown over in the Fire Nation, like, completely separate from Aang and the Avatar's group for a long period of time, out of nowhere.
That'd be like us getting thrown into the middle of a conflict at Ba Sing Se, on the side of the Fire Nation, on the siege of Ba Sing Se.
And we were thrown into, like, the middle of a war with, like, another place we'd never heard of before. And it's like, why do we care about this war? Like, what is going on? And then in episode 2, they tell you for certain why we care. Oh, yeah.
If they would have included that in the first episode,
it's becoming obvious to us that our Titans are becoming underpowered compared to the technology that is being developed that counters them. And therefore, we should go back and try to get the founding Titan. Therefore, a reason to care. Right? Yeah, so, follow me on this. If they had have said something at the end of episode 1, like, you know, right there, like Zeke being like, think we're going to have to go back. Like, some sort of tiny minuscule hint. I think it would have made that episode a lot fucking stronger than it was just by itself as a, like, what the hell was that type episode.
Yeah. And
like, I know everybody else is like, oh, Zeke and Ryan are the best characters. We already care about them a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't personally. Personal opinion, I didn't give a shit about them up to this point. I thought they were both dickheads. I've been telling you this whole time, I think they're both dickheads, and people who read ahead in the manga are like, you're fucking wrong. And I'm like, cool, but they haven't given me a reason to think they're anything other than dickheads yet.
And then the manga readers are, still doesn't matter, you're still wrong. And I'm just like,
I don't give a fuck.
It's just like, boy, we have not caught up. When we catch up and we're to the part where you're at, then we can have a conversation. Until then, shut your fucking mouth. Let us enjoy what we're watching, and let us hate the characters until we're given a reason to like them. That's how it works. That's how stories work. You cannot like someone simply based upon what everyone else in the fandom is saying who has read ahead. It's just like Zuko. In the beginning, you fucking hated Zuko. You wanted Zuko to just, like, fall off the face of the earth and just follow Iroh. You know why? Because Iroh's a better character. But then, you see why we are supposed to care for Zuko. You see the transformation in his fucking character. That is what we are trying to fucking catch up to. But you jacknapes who have read ahead in the manga are just like, oh, you should just read the manga. Go fuck yourself. You need to cut it the fuck out.
Somebody was like, God forbid I have to read something. And I'm like, oh yeah, God forbid I have to read something, like, on stream. And I was like, fucking showing them all my fucking
all
books.
his Junji Ito books. We don't mind to read, guys.
It's like my whole fucking, like, 12 issues of Death Note. Like, you know, my whole fucking, like, Tokyo Ghoul collection. My whole fucking, all the other shit that I do like to read. I don't want to read this series.
Dude, I read ahead in Naruto because they were taking so fucking long with all the stupid filler episodes.
I was introduced to this series in animated format for the first time before I ever knew it was a manga. I was introduced to the first episode of this whenever it was a fan sub that was brought over here from Japan. I want to continue watching it that way. I don't want to read ahead and spoil the shit out of it for myself because I really enjoyed the animated version of it.
Yeah.
Like, how hard is that to comprehend? Like, I don't give a shit if you wanted to read ahead and spoil shit for yourselves. I'm not like that. It doesn't mean that I don't like to read. I fucking read, like, all of the H.P. Lovecraft books. Like, everything that he's ever written. I've read all of Edgar Allan Poe. I read a fuck ton of shit, but it's when it's something I want to read. I don't want to read this. I want to watch it. Let me watch it. Let me form my opinions of it after we watch it.
Speaking of, here we go.
Let me have my opinions on singular episodes without you being like, oh, you don't understand the entire series, because you're just full of shit at that point.
Yeah.
If I didn't understand the series up to this point, I would have already quit watching it.
Also, them wearing those armbands, it's a lot like in the Jewish ghettos in occupied areas during World War II. A young Annie and a young Bertolt.
お前が評価されたのは試験で綴ったマーレーの忠誠心だろ。お前はイルティアスケナの残党か。はあ？そんなら間違いない。俺が隊長に報告してやる。てめえ、叫んだ。この野郎。すまない。俺はマーレ人になって母さんと父さんと3人で暮らすんだ。何？聞いてなかった。
ああ。 Wonder, for those of you wondering why we just got up and left, it is the winter solstice, and my dad told me, hey, look outside.
It's the Christmas star.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a rare Christmas star.
Well, I'll be dipped.
Southwestern or western horizon after sunset, yeah.
That was it.
Catch a once-in-a-lifetime sight in the sky Monday night, but may need to look quickly. It's called the Great Conjunction, or the moment when Jupiter and Saturn appear at their closest, a tenth of a degree apart. The event is set to take place Monday, which also marks the winter solstice, bringing the shortest amount of daylight and the longest night. The event has been dubbed the Christmas star because some astronomers have theorized the star of Bethlehem could have been a rare conjunction involving both Jupiter and Saturn.
I've heard about that too, yeah. Anyway, back to Attack on Titan. Oh, shit. Annie.
こいつは何でもできる汎用性が強い。レオンハートが最適だ。鎧の巨人は硬質化に特化した巨人。我慢強いブラウンが合っている。ギトの巨人は強襲型だ。マルセルに託した。獣の巨人は相変わらずだ。車力の巨人は並外れた持続力で
The cart Titan, okay.
判断力のあるピークで間違いないだろう。超大型巨人、破壊の神だ。フーバーなら使いこなせるだろう。子供に始祖奪還計画を託すなど、俺には正気とは思えん。なんでドベのお前が選ばれるんだ。どんな手を使いやがった。ドベはお前だった。それだけだろ。すまない。
He keeps saying I'm sorry to him for some, and that's the one that got eaten.
父さんそうなんでしょ。母さんは僕が生まれる前この弊社で働いてた。
あの女に言われてきたんだろう。俺に復讐するために。くそー、よりによってガキを戦士に。お前の出自が調べられたら俺の一家はおしまいだ。俺は逃げ切ってやるからな。お前らエルディアの悪魔の親子から。
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be the response he got.
そうだ。父なんかいなくても俺は鎧の巨人を託された選ばれた戦士。
I figured they would just allow Marlians to have relations with Eldians.
No.
やっぱり夜道はあまり進めなかったな。本当に壁を破壊しても壁の王は俺たちは明日壁をもう少し島の悪魔を殺すことをためらっているのか。すまない。何だすまない。お前は本当は戦士に選ばれるはずじゃなかったのに弟を貶めたりして軍に印象操作したんだ。俺は弟を守りたかった。何だすまない。
So that's why. And then this is where Emir came in. Scream like a bitch.
アギトを失わずに済んだのにくそもうマルセルは帰らない。アギトを探して帰る。どこかで人の姿に戻ってるはずだ。マルセルの指揮なしじゃ任務を果たせっこない。
ダメだ。帰れない。このまま任務を続行するんだ。
このまま帰れば鎧を剥奪されて次の戦士に食われる。私の知ったことじゃないけど。3人とも逃げた責任を俺だけが問われるのか。自分たちだけは粛清されないと確信を持って言えるか。うちがアキトの巨人を使って逃げたら俺らの巨人じゃ捕まえられっこない。そんなすぐに巨人の力が使えるわけ。お前はすぐに超大型を使いこなしただろうが。この身を守るためなら私たちを脅すってわけ。あんたがマガトに弁明しな。全て自分の責任ですって言え。何が名誉なアリ人だ。選ばれし戦士だと思ってんなら死ねよ。罪をかぶって死ね。
Oh shit.
死んだ。マルセルが必要だ。俺がマルセルになるから帰ろう。みんなで故郷に。父と3人で幸せに暮らせると思ったから。でもそんなことを望む父はどこにもいなかった。母は叶わないと分かっている夢を見続けていた。なんで俺なんかを助けた。嫌だ。まだ終わりたくない。まだ何も分かってないんだ。ここはウォールローゼの中だ。兄ベルトルト、ごめんな。マルセル、俺本当の戦士になるから。
貴様は何しにここに来た。人類を救うためです。俺の村はウォールマリア南東の山奥にあった。その後は覚えてないが馬に乗って逃げたんだ。ちょうどお前らぐらいの子供を3人残してな。
よう嬢ちゃん、こんなじじいをつけました。なかなか男を見る目があるようだな。
私は旅籠で生まれた。父親の話を聞かされて育ったから一目で分かってる。
そりゃ感動的だな。パパにハグしてほしければまず両手を上げろ。妹に誓ってねえな。そいつは俺が一番笑えない冗談だ。
ひどいよパパ。
おいおい、もうパパが嫌いになる年頃か。
今日もすごいな。この足の感じだと今日は雪か。いや、この上半身。
起きろベルトルト。
ぐっすり眠る頃、私は王都のドブの中を這い回った。 いつがいたんじゃ。もう喧嘩集めた情報を持ってマーレに帰ろう。どんな情報でも歓迎してくれるよ。
本当にそう思っているのか。
じゃあ何？どうしろっての？
ウォールローゼを破壊する。始祖の巨人をあぶり出す手段はもう他にない。何度も言ってるだろう。奴らは友達じゃない悪魔だ。いつもお前ばかりに負担をかけてすまないと思ってる。今日はこの辺にしておこう。
同じ夢を見るんだ。開拓地で首を吊ったおじさんの夢だ。なんで首をくくる前に僕たちにあんな話したんだろうって。
どうやったらそうなれる？お前やイカサみたいになるにはどうやったら。このままじゃ俺は何も果たせず終わっちまう。
ただやるべきことをやる。ただ進み続ける。巨人を一匹残らず駆逐するんだろう。お前ならやれる。
このままじゃダメだ。
Damn.
あいつらが。
おい。情の治療に来てるのは俺のは嘘だ。記憶障害で家まで帰れないってことにしてるな。本当は帰りたくないだけだ。病院の人に言うか。そんなことはしませんよ。怪我してるの？戦士になるための訓練か？ええ。君はいいやつだ。長生きしてくれるなら嬉しいよ。でも俺はそいつを戦士にさせたくなくて。どうして？有名なやつですよ。この前の戦争でも活躍したくらいで。誰だって次の鎧はあいつがいいって言うはず。でも俺は力がないから何もできないまま。心も体も蝕まれ、徹底的に自由を奪われ、こんなことになるなんて知っていれば誰も戦場なんか行かないだろう。否定その何かは自分の意志じゃない。他人や環境に強制されて仕方なくだ。それは進み続けた者にしかわからない。
Wait a second. Wait. He's hiding out at... Oh, he's infiltrating. Oh.
Well, that would make sense as to why he's not going back to face his family, because his family's not there. But
I think it's the part that he's made up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
like, he's gonna have to transform over there at some point to regen. Apparently an eye too, possibly. One of the things I keep saying about the shows are like nothing happens on the show for no reason, you know. And it's like him having this conversation with this random dude we haven't met so far would be more of a reason if that is him, for sure. I feel like we're gonna get shit on one way or the other. They're gonna be like, "You guys are stupid," or "You guys," they're gonna be like,
"How did you think that was Eric?"
It's fucking obvious that that's Eric. Like, how are you not getting this? And I'm just gonna be like, dude, calm the fuck down.
Yeah,
I'm excited to go back and see it again because I want to.
Well, the narrative jumping from
see
place
if I
to place.
missed anything or anything like that, you know.
Let me actually. Okay, so Kenny Ackerman is potentially Annie's father, based upon how she acted, and also the story that she told.
Which I wonder if he's been. How does that happen?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to think. Like, are there people who knew about the outside that were traveling back and forth between the outside and the inside, or has he been in Paradise his whole life just like everybody else?
I don't know. And the thing is,
because how did he end up getting someone pregnant, and then they ended up as a Eldian warrior back over in Marley? Like,
I don't know.
That's really weird.
Maybe something. Maybe Kenny is over in Paradise for some other reason, and he's over there as.
That's what I'm wondering.
Mole.
Is like that. Like
that's what his original plan
him and
was.
Like his squad, like could they have been like a merc group that like didn't have a allegiance to either or?
I think it probably would just be Kenny. I think Kenny was probably the only one who had an allegiance to like either Marley or Eldia, and then when he came over here to Paradise, he was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go dark. I'm not gonna send any other information back.
Because, like, I mean, obviously one of them's got to be Eldian. For
I'd
her to
say
be
her
Eldian.
mother's probably Eldian.
Maybe, and maybe that's why he left and didn't come back, is because he did basically the same thing that happened with Reiner. Is he impregnated an Eldian and he was a Marleyan, and then he had to peace out and be like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Maybe.
Like, so maybe
I don't know. The Ackerman bloodline is... I want to learn more about the Ackerman bloodline.
Well, I'm assuming we're going to... From the looks of it, we're going to be learning a lot about it, like, throughout the end of the series. It answered some questions here that I didn't know I had. Like, exactly what their interactions were with each other after... I forgot his name. After Mir 8. The original Jaw Titan.
Yeah.
Like some of the other things.
Marcel.
Like,
yeah.
Like after that happened, what happened with their interactions with each other, and just their plan for their actual assault, like, originally.
And he wanted to give up and come home, and then Reiner was just like, no, we're finishing this fucking mission.
And it explained, like, why she wasn't there attacking with them whenever they originally attacked.
Because Reiner choked her out and effectively pretty much just... Some
questions that I never really thought to ask just got answered, so that's neat.
Like, the previous history where Reiner was blindly following the exact same rhetoric that his mother was spitting. I mean, the exact same. Just like, they're devils, they're evil, they're terrible. They're not my friends, they're devils, remember that. And I think over time of him being with them for so long, maybe he actually did develop sort of a kinship, or maybe even...
I feel like he had to have seen that, like, he's like, this doesn't make sense because they're not what they've been made out to be. And he's like, well, we still gotta do this. Like,
well, rarely are they, because that's the thing
he even still said, he's like, why are you here, and he's like, to save humanity, and, like, it felt like that was a thing, like, that he meant, but from his perspective, obviously.
Yes. Well,
like, he wasn't just playing when he said that. He said what he meant, like, what he was thinking, and it was his original goal. I came over here to save humanity by killing all of you, but I'm not going to say that part out loud. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but every time I see that drill sergeant, all I can do is see that one scene from Attack on Titan Abridged. It's just like, I plan to give my life in the service of the king. It's like, oh, what? You think this is Harem of the Dead, you shrimp dick fuck nugget? And, Reiner was talking to him. You saw Reiner in the present.
That moment when he was talking to him was, like, when I was kind of wondering, like, if that was, like, the moment where his personality kind of started to get really, like, fucking fuzzy.
I think so. I think that's where he started to realize these are
because I think that was before the whole deal with, was it Marco?
Marcel?
No, Marco.
You
remember when they...
Yeah, when they killed Marco.
Yeah, when Marco overheard them talking and they left him to get eaten.
Yeah, they
He's
took
like,
away
hey,
his
why is Marco being eaten? It's like, if their training that was being shown right there was before then, like, I'm wondering if that moment with Aaron was where he really started to, like, something started to split off in his mind,
Like, these are people,
too. Like, that almost dual personality that he has.
Well, that can happen. I've encountered people who they adamantly believe in one thing, but then the very next day you speak to them, they're spitting a completely different, like, style of rhetoric.
Yeah.
And that does appear with people who are bipolar, people who are, people who have, like, very sharp personality shifts. Like, I've witnessed it, and it's very jarring when it happens.
I think they're also trying to imply that I keep getting my M names mixed up. Marcel?
Marcel, yeah, the Jaw Titan, the former Jaw Titan.
He's like, I'll be Marcel. Like, it's like something at that point, like, also I think snapped in his brain that started a process as well.
Well, he already was, like, mentally compromised, because he grew up his entire life with his mother telling him, oh, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils. And then he goes to training, and then he's told in training,
but the government and everybody else around him.
Well, yeah, he's pretty much, like, indoctrinated to think that way. And then he sees an opportunity for him to become a Marleyan and potentially him have a connection with his father in some way. And then he goes into the warrior program, and he's seen as the weakest. and that fucks with you. But then all of a sudden he's made the Armored Titan, and then
come to find out it's because one of the others lied to protect his own brother, basically.
Yes, and then by finding out, someone whom he trusted
and
lied.
Then that guy, right after giving that revelation, gets eaten.
Yes,
and then
so
you
there's
feel
no
like
closure.
it's partially your fault. And
So with that point with Marcel, there's no closure.
There's a whole lot of stuff leading up to like his brain just getting completely scrambled.
And then
by
when
things.
Annie beat the shit out of him,
yeah,
I think that's the one point where he like made a decision in his mind to be direct. He's like, we are taking down this fucking wall and we are finishing our fucking mission. I don't care what it, and then eventually, he goes through and carries out this horrible ordeal. Him and Bertolt Bertolt knocks down the outer wall. He knocks out the doorway in the inner wall, and thus Wall Maria is lost. We saw that personality split right there. Whenever he's just like talking to Falco, he's just like, "So are you saying that you have doubts of Marley's like overall goal? Are you saying that you want to?" And it's like, no, I'm not saying that at all. It's like, you want to save her? Yes, I want to save her. Good.
And then do it, basically.
Yeah. So I think Reiner has that where his mind is like going in two different directions. He wants to, in some way, he's putting on the mask like he's still 100% on Marley's side, but in his mind, he sees that he can't unsee the fact that Paradisians are human beings too, and he in fact made friends with the enemy, and seeing them and his mind as a Marleyan is still trying to like. The logic to like hammer the logic in. It's like they're devils, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils. But the other side of him is just like, but they're my friends. I made friends with them. I know that like Sasha, she loves potatoes. Friggin' Connie, he's an annoying brat, but I love him. Friggin' Aaron, he was a whiny bitch for a while, but now he's actually turned into a pretty cool guy. Mikasa, a friggin' wonderkind who can like slaughter anyone. Aramin, a fucking tactical genius. And then there's Levi, who I do not want to cross, and if I don't get my cleaning duties right, he's going to fucking kick my ass. Holy shit, wait. Then all of a sudden, the other side of his brain comes back in. It's like, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils, they're devils. Of course his brain's going to fucking split in two. Mm-hmm. Of course he's going fucking crazy. Of course he wants to end it all, because he doesn't know what the fuck to think. There's nothing concrete in his head that he can rely on, because everything that he was taught when he was a kid is a fucking lie. But yet, because of the indoctrination that he's gone through, the countless years, the countless times he's said it himself, they're devils. He just can't let go of that self-fulfilling prophecy. You see that in war sometimes because, I know a lot of people say, well, the sociopathic tendencies of the Gestapo when they carried stuff out, a lot of them did feel guilt after. A lot of, like, the grunts, the foot soldiers, the ones who actually had to pull the triggers, a lot of them did in fact kill themselves, and it wasn't the fact that they were going to face war crimes, that was one thing, but instead they saw the true like horror that they had caused, because when you understand the scale of like the mass executions, the mass like burnings, just everything.
And you always have that with war too, from both sides. The propaganda on your side makes it out like, oh, our enemy is bad people.
Yes.
Like, they're bad people. The guys you're shooting, they're fucking assholes. Like,
everyone,
they fucking kick kittens for fun. Like,
everyone
then you get over there and you're fighting, like, and it's always shown, like, situations like, oh, you break down a door and it's just a fucking family that's like, it's like, oh God, and terrified and stuff. And you're just like,
what are your orders?
Thought these guys were supposed to be evil, and like the husband, like, just comes to defend his family and you got to shoot him.
You got down the whole family.
Like,
that's the whole
just crazy shit like that, like they probably told us that the Vietnamese were just like
backward savages that wanted to kill everyone.
Devil heathens, like, but most of them were just like, dude, we just want to farm our stuff, go the fuck away.
Yeah, a lot of them were just rice farmers who just wanted to live their everyday lives, and also we would have won Vietnam if we would have followed the same thing that won us like previous world wars. Take objectives. Don't institute a war of attrition in a foreign land. Mm-hmm. You never want to do that. You never institute a war of attrition on a foreign land, because they will fight until there are none left. That is just how it works.
It's pretty much what Marley's trying to do to Paradis.
Well, yeah, it's a war of attrition. They're trying to steal their, their founding.
Paradis is going to fight until there's nobody left, pretty much, because that's all they can do.
Basically, that's it. Wars of attrition against foreign lands almost never work. Like, honestly, how you win is you take objectives. And I'm starting to see the perspective of Reiner, where he's at right now and where his mental capacity is. And I can see why there are people out there who think he's the best character. I'm starting to come around to thinking Reiner might be an okay person, but given his actions in the past, it's going to be hard for me to get over that. There's a lot to untangle and unravel in this series. I'm just shocked that right at the end there, Eren was just like staring us right in the face, and he was just like, you have no choice but to keep moving forward.
Assuming that's him, yeah.
Assuming it is him. I think it is, because those eyes... I mean, I've been looking at Eren's, like, determined eyes for, like, the last 3 seasons, and that's...
Rewind one more time to his face.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's him.
It has to be.
Because look at that.
Yeah.
Like,
it has to be, dude.
Just add a mustache to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same eyebrow, same eye shape.
Yes.
Like, pretty sure that's him.
He got in. He's basically gotten in the same way that Reiner, Annie, and Bertholdt got in.
Yep.
Through mass confusion and refugee, like pulling like a soldier.
The aftermath of a battle.
Yes.
Much.
Basically taking advantage of the confusion, and he did it.
I wonder what their plan is if he's doing that.
I don't know. I mean,
I wonder if they're doing the same kind of operation that they were wanting to do, and like they're trying to come take some of the Titans from them somehow.
Well, or they're just wanting to wage war on Marley somehow, because Ahriman, if he's learned how to control the Colossal Titan ability, he can just like get in the middle of Marley and just be like, "Oh, hey, look, a knife!"
Right.
And then game over.
Well, at least game advantage.
Well, yeah.
Them.
Well, yeah, big time, and that would be tremendous. But I don't think that's their plan, because I think. Well,
they still got to know they're going up against 5, 6. I think 5, right?
5 confirmed. I think
5 Titans. Like so,
especially
even with
3 dangerous
there
ones.
too, it's gonna be a hell of a fight if they just bust out in the city like that.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing I've been thinking about this whole time. Like since the end of last season, is like, how are they going to pull this off?
Well,
like,
I don't think they'll
no
pull
clue what a good plan would be to actually attack.
I don't think they'll pull the Colossal Titan strategy, though, because I think they don't want to kill the citizens of Marley.
They're probably going to be going with something more subtle for the first part of it.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then whenever time calls for Eren to transform, he will. And then
he may even be there just to gather information. It's just like, so we want to find out like what this place is like. Do they all hate us? Like,
yeah,
are they all bad people? Like, he may just be there to find that kind of shit out.
Maybe. Maybe so. We'll see. So yeah, this season is definitely like getting us more inspired to talk about stuff, and is like really just throwing a lot at us.
It's ramping up quickly.
It is. And the fact that we have Eren here, that's just...
So another thing a bunch of people in the comments said, the people who weren't as passionately angry about, my opinion, they were just pointing out that we were talking about the season possibly splitting. They were saying it's pretty much a guarantee at this point, because they'll probably wait for the manga to finish up before they do the second half of the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, honestly, I love George R.R. Martin, but he really needs to hurry the fuck up. I mean, what he said? Oh yeah, the sixth book will be out here, and then the 7th book will be out, and that'll be it. It's like, George, you're getting old, man. Like, you need to get... I know you want to play Elden Ring and everything, and I know he's probably worked his ass off on Elden Ring, but good God, man. Yeah. Come on, George. Por favor. But this...
Yeah, waiting for the source material to be finished is usually a good move.
Yes.
Like, otherwise, you're going to end up with probably 2 different endings, with, the vast majority of the fan base being split on which they prefer.
Well, you do know that actually that happened with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right?
I didn't.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. O'Malley actually brought in the final draft of the final book, and he showed it to Edgar Wright, and Edgar Wright was just like, "Huh, okay. I originally had the ending going this way, but I see where you're going. I'm going to write something comparable to that as like an alternate ending."
Are you talking about for the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
So when he did the movie, the original ending that he had that was released, I believe, at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Don't spoil the ending for the book for me.
Oh, no, I'm not going to spoil the ending of the book.
I still am slightly planning to read those.
Well,
possibly.
Not going to spoil the ending of the book, but what he wrote as for the alternate ending was actually the ending that we saw in the finished movie, the final movie.
So the books end differently.
The book ends a little bit differently, yes, a fair amount differently. But the original ending that we got, that was shown at, I believe, the Toronto International Film Festival, was where Scott and Knives wound up together. Which it showed them at the end doing like that ninja Dance Dance Revolution game that they played, and like them getting a perfect score again, and then like the film ending with like them about to kiss, and then, that was the end of that. But then Edgar Wright, after reading Brian Lee O'Malley's final draft, he was just like, you know what, I'll make an alternate ending, and we'll see which one works better. And he went with the alternate ending that he wrote after reading O'Malley's final book. So yeah, this series is picking up, and I'm hoping that I'm still don't know where the hell they're going to go 100%, but now that Aaron is in the fold, which if this is Aaron, that's friggin' awesome. But
after looking at the picture, I'm like 80% like that's got to be him.
Yeah, same.
If it's not him, he's got a fucking Marleyan cousin or something.
Yeah,
it looks just fucking like him.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll have to see. But anyway, everyone, I think that's going to do it. So until then, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
We'll see you then, everybody. Peace out.